And there it is.
And there we are. Good afternoon, everybody.
We are live. How's everyone doing out there?
Hope you guys are well on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Sunny here in Virginia Beach, where we are physically located. But of course, we serve clients all around the world.
Yeah, welcome. It's Friday, September 15th. My name is John Gardner. This is my wife and law partner, Radlyn Mendoza, and we are the immigration law firm.
Hey, guys.
Gardner and Mendoza, like Radlyn said, coming to you from Virginia Beach, Virginia, on the east coast of the United States. And here, we're getting the early taste of fall. The air is a little cooler, little wind. It's very, very pleasant.
Yes, it is. Pleasant. It is lovely, lovely out there.
Yes.
Sunny and bright and windy today.
So we come to you every Friday from noon to 1. And during that hour, we give you immigration updates if we have any. And most importantly, that we like to answer your questions. So if you have an immigration question, make sure you get it posted and we'll get to it. I got to warn you, what we do here is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only.
Right. Our parents think it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's not legal advice. And we want to be really clear on that. These are short hypotheticals. Bring your questions, and we'll give you some basic information about them. But it is not information that you can rely on legally because you're not a client of ours. And there's a lot of detail, a lot of complexity in immigration law. And before we could possibly give you actual legal advice, we would really need to drill deep, which is exactly what we do when you do become a client. Also, I want to say hi to everyone over here on TikTok because we simulcast. So we're on Facebook Live looking straight at you. And then over to my side here is our whole
hey guys
group of TikTok folks. And so I'll be monitoring all these TikTok questions over here. If you're on TikTok, make sure you get your question in the line and be patient, please. Don't just keep posting it over and over and over and over and over again because that just slows everything down. All right. Post it once, sit back and wait. Kind of like filing an immigration case, right?
That's right. File your case, sit back and wait. You can also, guys, come over to Facebook and put your question in the comments here. All of the characters will show up. You can type a lot of characters into the Facebook comments. So we're also, folks from YouTube also join us as well as Twitter, since we're connected to all of those.
We can see a bunch of folks that are joining us, but we can't see who they are necessarily. So I'm just going to say hi because I'm going to take a guess that one of them is my mother and one of them is my nephew, Daniel James.
And your mother-in-law.
And my mother-in-law.
All right.
And maybe my aunt. Maybe both of my aunts.
All right.
Okay.
You have an update, yeah?
You already have some.
You have an update, right?
Questions, yeah. That's a big long one. You can start to digest it. Yeah, I do. I have one update. It's not a big deal because it doesn't. Well, I shouldn't say it's not a big deal. It doesn't change very much. It doesn't change anything actually. But for those of you who have been following the whole history of DACA, this is an old program that went into effect in 2012. And it's gone through a lot of litigation because it came through an executive action under the Obama administration. And in 2021, a federal judge had ruled that it was unconstitutional because the Obama administration had exceeded its authority and went around Congress, is what the judge said. Case got appealed to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals agreed and said, yes, this was an abuse of power by the executive, went around Congress, and they basically sent it back to the court in Texas and allowed the Biden administration to try to make some tweaks to it and do some things to maybe try to fix it. They tweaked around the edges of it, and then it went back to the court. And yesterday or the day before, I think it was Wednesday, same federal judge said that the fixes didn't change anything. Still unconstitutional, still outside of Congress. It'll probably get appealed now again to the Fifth Circuit, which I anticipate will probably say the same thing as well. So basically, all it means is that there was no movement forward with DACA. There was no movement backward either, though, because the court said, look, what we've been doing so far is not not allowing new applications to be filed. However, those folks who already had DACA and are renewing applications can continue to renew them, and the judge just left that as is. So DACA stands where it stood prior to this hearing on Wednesday, this ruling on Wednesday. If you have DACA, you can continue to renew DACA, but they are not accepting any new applications. And that's the update. We'll see where it goes. I don't anticipate there'll be much that we hear on this for a while, because again, it'll go up to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. I doubt they'll send it back to the judge again this time, because that already happened. So I suspect that it'll probably end up at the Supreme Court. And as a court watcher, I don't do as much court watching as I normally do, because there just haven't been that many immigration issues there. But we are court watchers when it comes to immigration. And from what I've seen in the past, I would highly suspect that the Supreme Court will probably affirm the Fifth Circuit and this judge in Texas. I can't see a world where this current Supreme Court rules differently, because everything this court has done so far has been very pro, limiting the executive branch, pushing stuff back to the states, not letting things that go around Congress go forward. And I suspect that they'll probably say this is a classic example of executive overreach, and will agree with Texas. What they do with the renewals is a very interesting question, because part of what's allowing that federal judge in Texas, in the Houston area, to allow the matter to basically, for those who have it, to keep renewing, despite having ruled that the entire program is unconstitutional, is the fact that the appeals are pending. So if the Supreme Court says, no, this DACA is unconstitutional, and they strike it, I don't know that they'll then allow anyone to keep renewing them, because at that point, there'll be no place for it to be appealed to. And I suspect what they ultimately will say is, look, Congress, you need to pass a law regarding DACA, or DACA's over, one or the other. You can't have it both ways. And then what happens there, I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out. All right.
Thanks for the update.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure.
I
wish I had better news on it.
I was halfway listening.
Yeah, I
was halfway listening.
I don't.
To be honest, I was looking at some of the questions. So
I don't need to be on a soapbox about this, because I've done it in the past. I know that immigration reform is a controversial and complicated, and a lot of people have very different views on it. DACA itself is a pretty non-controversial program that sadly gets stuck in the middle of the larger immigration debate, because both sides of the debate use DACA as kind of a leveraging piece for something more. And because both sides want more, they can never agree to just what would be considered a skinny DACA bill. They could easily sever DACA out as a separate independent piece of legislation. It could be passed tomorrow. It could have been passed 2 years ago, 5 years ago, easily. So, all right.
All right. Well, thank you.
That was a little soapboxy, but not bad, right?
It was definitely soapboxy, but it's all
sorry.
good. You've got to get on the soapbox once in a while. So we will go with the first question here from Gaurav. Hello, Gaurav. I'm not going to put your question. Your question kind of trails off, Gaurav. So I'm sorry. I read the whole thing, and then I'm not sure what the question is because it stopped. So if you want to add the rest of your question, you are first in line. And once you do, we will hop right to it.
Wow. We have a lot of questions already.
We have a lot of questions. That DACA explanation must have been long.
Was it too long? Tell me the truth, folks.
No.
Put it in the comments.
It was perfect. It was perfect. It was all that we needed to know. So,
as our kids always say, let me know in the comments.
Let me know in the comments. Let's grab a question over on TikTok.
All right. Let's see. First question up here.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
That's
Sorry. For the past couple of times, we've missed the very first question on TikTok for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. We just for those of you who just joined us, This is my wife and law partner, Radlyn Mendoza.
Why was I bossing you around?
No, not bossing me around. I just, just that's the kind of exchange that you normally would find between a married couple versus just say some business partners.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll be married 25 years on October 3rd.
Yes, our anniversary. Let's grab a question.
Right around the corner.
Too much entertainment.
Okay, Benson wants to know if there's any update on Kenyan consulate on interview wait times. He's been waiting a year and a half for his wife's interview.
So who is that?
That was Benson.
Benson, we're so sorry about the wait. I mean, truly, that is just unacceptable. Waiting for a year and a half for an interview. Can you imagine if you and I were apart for a year and a half and we're just waiting for an interview to be scheduled? I'm really sorry you're going through that. It is a serious, serious problem with the backlog. I believe if I read this correctly, there are 4 African countries on the top 10 list of the most backlogged. I don't have any updates on that. I mean, I know they're trying, but there are just not enough resources to get all those interviews through in a timely manner. A year and a half is pretty crazy, but hang in there. If you want to talk to us, Benson, about filing a lawsuit and possibly getting this case adjudicated a lot faster, give us a call. Reach out to us. You can give us a call at 757-464-9224, or you can send us an email at info@gmlaw.net.
Yeah,
and
Benson,
we'd be happy to talk to you about that.
Doesn't matter where you are. Just a reminder, we have clients all over the country and all over the world. So if you have an immigration matter, please reach out to us and see if we can help you. Doesn't matter where you are. Okay.
Sometimes we have to sue in order to get what we want.
Yeah, that's sometimes where these cases have to go, because they can go to federal court. That's where ultimately you go if you're displeased with something that immigration has done, or you're trying to get them to do something that they seemingly are refusing to do. And we've had a lot of success with that. We can't guarantee results, obviously. No lawyer can ethically do that. But I will tell you that we've had really great success with our federal lawsuits. Okay. Perla wants to know. Oh wait, you have a question. You're next, aren't you?
I have a question.
Sorry,
from
I jumped
Alexis.
the line there. Right,
John jumped the line. He's always.
Sorry, I was just looking out for my TikTok family over here.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
Your TikTok family, I should say.
Our, yeah. You have to suffer through the videos too. The making of the videos.
The making of the
videos. The videos.
Okay.
All right. This is Alexis. She says, good noon. Good noon. Hi, I do have a question. I came here in the United States through EB3 visa last April of 2021. So the EB3 is the employment-based visa category, 3rd preference, and I got married to a U.S. citizen last November 2021. When can I start the process for citizenship? Can I start it 3 months before I become 3 years here in the United States, or 3 months before the mark of 3 years as married to a U.S. citizen, or before the 5-year mark in the United States? So I'm not going to do that calculation, but what I will say, Alexis, is you may apply for U.S. citizenship if you are married to a U.S. citizen who has been a U.S. citizen for at least 3 years. You all have been married and living together for at least 3 years, and you have been a lawful permanent resident for at least 3 years. So I hope that answers your question. And on top of that, you are able to apply 90 days early. So instead of kind of getting into the numbers that you threw at me, threw at us and the questions, but it's a really good question. That is the rule. I hope that helps. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out this question. Maybe you can make better sense of it. Perla says, why can I find my family and I-94? We entered in 2000 with visa through land from Mexico.
So
you think she means when? Or,
how?
That's how.
Yeah, how?
Yeah,
So Perla, it's tough. You may be able to file a replacement of your I-94. You came in through land. It can be tough to find that if there wasn't one that was done. I can see why you want that. An I-94 shows that a person has been inspected into the United States, which can provide different types of benefits without having to leave the United States, especially if you've been in the United States and you've been out of status. So you can file for a replacement of your I-94. We have gotten them successfully for cases that are even older than 2000. So it is possible. If you need help with that, please reach out. And I believe that is I'm not going to say what form it is because I'd have to look it up. Okay. All right. Catherine.
I think there was one at the very beginning there. Oh, that was too long.
Okay.
You got one?
Yeah, sorry. I jumped down. Catherine says, I have a question. I had papers through DACA, but my work permit expired back in 2018. I was not able to renew them until 2021, and I still haven't gotten any information yet. I'm an initial renewing, but my papers were expired for more than a year. So, Catherine, that can be an issue if you're talking about DACA being expired for more than a year. The work permit, no, but DACA itself, you need to renew that before the year expires. So that could be the issue. Be happy to take a look at it and see where it is for you if you'd like some assistance with that.
Yeah, and those of you just joined in, I was talking about sort of all the litigation surrounding DACA right now, and so it's unfortunately, I feel for you, it's a not great situation because everything is kind of in limbo right now about what's going on with it.
Right. So, I mean, in your case, Catherine, I just would be interested to just make sure that it's the DACA that has been the actual DACA application and not your work application that has been expired for over a year. I mean, we don't want to assume that it is the DACA application, because then, you would have an issue because it would be treated as an initial application, as John mentioned, not taking initial application. So that's an important consideration.
Yeah. And for those of you who may be watching on TikTok or on Facebook, Catherine, sorry to hear that, Catherine, but it's a good reminder for those of you, if you know somebody that does have DACA, just if you have it and it's current, be real careful to check your times and make sure that you're not letting that expire. Okay.
Right.
Make sure as long as you keep it current, for now you're fine, but you don't want to fall back into that gray area.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Spell over here wants to know, says, hi, I'm trying to gather bona fides. How to get a cell bill with our names? We're already on the same mobile account.
How to get a cell bill? I would reach out to your provider.
Yeah. I mean, your bill should have your names on it. I don't know why it wouldn't.
I mean, yeah. One thing a lot of times people are not getting mail anymore, right? You're probably doing like a electronic payment, and maybe it's an automatic electronic payment, and maybe you haven't logged into your account in a long time, but there should be 2 numbers on the account when you log into it. And if it doesn't actually have the name of your spouse next to the number, because it's going to just have another number, like who does that belong to? It may not have the name. You may want to try to reach out to the cell phone provider and have them clarify that.
Yeah. And I'm I don't want to be offensive or rude here, but I'm assuming you've already crawled all over even if it is paperless, all over the app and your login and everything, because even paperless bills, you can find, if you look around, there are all kinds of different places you can find the actual information.
Right.
So it should be there somewhere.
In the 17 pages of cell phone bill.
Yes, exactly. And even if it's not paper, even the paperless, it's there somewhere. So you might just need to dig a little deeper to look for it.
Right. And if you have issues printing that, or, you know, you want to just you can take a screenshot of it, print and submit that. If there truly is no name next to the second number, one idea, one recommendation might be to take a screenshot of your spouse's screen with her number on it and contact information, and they connect the dots for USCIS.
Clever idea. $1 million tip right there.
$1 million tip.
See, it was worth it.
It was worth it
for that.
Right. And it's free. It's a free $1 million recommendation tip. Yeah. All right. Scott MC. Scott MC is getting married in the Philippines. It's a long. Okay, wait. Sorry. Getting married in the Philippines is a long process. Are there positive or negative with the virtual marriage on the CR1 visa? Sorry, I just read that so slowly. But I mean, the thing with the virtual marriage, marriage by proxy, is that you still have to take the extra added step of doing of consummating the marriage before filing the petition. So, you know, that's something that I think that maybe people don't think about, that they have to do before filing the petition. And if you're going to see your future spouse, right, or your future spouse anyway, because you have to consummate the marriage in order to file the petition, maybe kind of organize it so you can get married in person. This is kind of sometimes the way I think, but I understand why people have to do a proxy marriage. But just remember that you have to take that extra added step with before filing that I-130 petition. And, you know, there are all kinds of relationships and all kinds of marriages. I think that if we were to say, oh, well, you know, everybody's going to consummate the marriage, that would not exactly be true, because there are all kinds of relationships and all kinds of marriages. So something to think about, Scott MC.
Good luck.
All right.
Yeah. All right. We got a question over here on TikTok. If you're a green card holder, can you petition to bring your mother?
No.
I'm laughing because Radlyn had a TikTok about this very issue that got a lot of.
Can't do it. You have to become a U.S. citizen first.
All right.
Which, if you are eligible, let me get on my soapbox. If you are eligible to become a U.S. citizen, you should seriously think about applying, right? If you're a lawful permanent resident and you have the time as a lawful permanent resident, you're not otherwise barred from applying for U.S. citizenship, you should think about it, because USCIS is fast tracking N-400 applications right now. We've been seeing them get adjudicated, and not just us, but our colleagues as well, you know, in 6 months' time or even less, which on posted times, it's like, you know, 14, 15, 16 months. So you could be a U.S. citizen fairly quickly and then be able to petition for your mom. Now, you may not have the time as a lawful permanent resident to apply for U.S. citizenship, but for those out there who are listening and you do, please, please, please consider applying for U.S. citizenship, especially right now. You will be on a faster track, most likely. Not always, but most likely. And imagine getting this done in 6 months, like the good old days, instead of like 19 months. So please apply for U.S. citizenship if you have the time and you're eligible.
All right. And Marisol sent some lightning. Yeah. Thanks.
All
for
right.
That.
Lightning. All right. Anna. Let's see here. These are, I mean, Facebook does have some character limitations. And if you do get cut off, please continue with your question, because we don't want to miss it and we don't want to shortchange you. Okay. Let me see here. Good day. I have a question regarding applying for citizenship. I am from the Philippines and already applied for citizenship on July of 2023. So just a couple months ago. After submitting my application, I found out that I had a court date because of failure to send my dog's sterilization record to animal shelter where I adopted my dog. But the truth is, I sent them the records that I have and still advised went to the court. That day, they dismissed my case and did not pay anything on the fine since I was found not guilty. Okay. So Anne's question probably is, this kind of reminds me of when our dog was captured by the dog catcher. Remember that?
I do.
John actually had to go to court. It was a class 1 misdemeanor, wasn't it? Or 3, maybe? Maybe a class 3 misdemeanor.
2.
Class 2 misdemeanor. But still, it's a criminal.
Well, we had just
thing.
moved, and I did have the records, but they were in boxes.
Right. Our dog didn't have a collar. He was a free range.
Yeah. He ran. He got out of the house. Took off. Yeah.
And the dog catcher caught him. And John was going to court a lot then. So they all knew John, and everybody gave him a hard time about it. But it was also ultimately dismissed.
Yeah, it was. But the judge had a lot of fun with me. I remember it was Judge Migliozzi.
And then told the bailiff to come arrest you, right?
He was saying things like, what kind of person, Mr. Gardner, would flaunt the law and just snub the law like that and just ignore the law like that?
Right. Okay, Anne, back to your question.
Back to your question. Anne.
Number 1, good job on applying for U.S. citizenship. Number 2, good job in asking this question and being concerned about something that could be a problem for your naturalization. At your interview, even though, again, this seems like, it's dismissed, who cares? Nobody cares about this. At my interview, I'm just not going to bring it up. Bad move. Everybody listen up. You have to bring up things like this on your N-400 application. Now, Anne already has her N-400 application filed, but at the time of your interview, Anne, you must bring this up. You must bring the paperwork to show that the case was dismissed with a certified disposition. And I cannot emphasize enough how you have to bring this up at the time of your interview. In fact, after you get sworn in, you should bring it up, or maybe after your test, right?
Yeah, we talk about this a lot because it comes up, and we're always reminding people that lying or trying to hide the ball in these situations is really worse than, because the charge is not going to be a problem. And
the charge is not a problem.
It's just if you lie about it or hide it, then it could be a problem.
Right. Well,
so you want to make sure that you, like Radlyn said, that you're just upfront about it.
Yes. You if you lied about it at the time of your interview, then you are going to be considered to be a person not of good moral character, and then you'll be barred potentially for filing for 5 years. So what a penalty, right? For not mentioning something. So good for you and coming on to our live and asking this question.
And I hope others out there hear that and can benefit from it. You can just say, oh, I need to make an update, or they may ask if there's any updates, and you can say, oh, yes, as a matter of fact. And if you say no and they say, are you sure? Folks, not you, Emily, but others, not you, Anne, but others out there.
Yep.
If they're giving you that cue, that they know, because they do. So make sure that you just are upfront about it. Okay.
Absolutely. Great question.
Great question.
I love this question because it has happened at an interview that I have been in where the client just kind of conveniently forgets and conveniently forgot to leave it to tell their attorneys. So it happens. But you're not going to do that, Anne. You're going to go in there and hand it right to him. Hopefully that's helpful.
Right. Okay, over here, Pretty Filipina says, please tell me. But we don't know what you want us to tell you, Pretty Filipina.
Maybe there's a question that got missed.
I couldn't find it.
Okay. We don't know what to tell you, but we would tell you.
Sorry. Yes, please post it again or post it for the first time. All right.
We have some discussion here from Emily about DACA, discussing the case a little bit. Noel, see here. Noel says, my mother and our petitioner passed last September 13th, 2023. I'm so sorry to hear that. Our papers were approved and we're just waiting for our interview on October 30th. What can we do? We are third preference category. So, Noel, it looks like you may be eligible for humanitarian reinstatement. And humanitarian reinstatement is a way in which that petition, even though your mom has passed away, can be reinstated, and that you and your family members are still able to immigrate to the United States. Now, humanitarian reinstatement is how can I say it? It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to reinstate a petition that everyone thought was gone because of the passing away of the petitioner. It just is. It's a really wonderful program, but it does take a long time. It does take patience because there's really no tracking mechanism, and sometimes we have to file multiple times to request humanitarian reinstatement. I mean, what I'm saying is basically, as a practitioner, because there's no way to track it when we request humanitarian reinstatement, it's frustrating. It's frustrating for us. It's frustrating for our clients, but we just, you have to just keep going. All the humanitarian reinstatement cases that we have done, again, like I said, have been extremely rewarding. The most recent one was for a high school friend. Obviously I've been out of high school for ever. But with the last sister that was left behind because she was married, and my friend's dad passed away. He was a petitioner, and we were able to do it. And it took several years, but it was awesome. The family was reunited, and the beneficiary's son was able to come as well. So, I mean, it's well worth it. Noelle, you can reach out to us if you would like assistance with that. Our number is 757-464-9224. Hopefully there is a step-in sponsor that would be able to sign the affidavit of support. But anyhow, there is a remedy. We just have to figure out if you would be eligible for that. Love humanitarian reinstatement. Hate it while it's going on, but love the result and the outcome.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments over here, and I just wanted to also, I forgot to let everybody know that, these Facebook Lives, we have them on our Facebook page, and so you can go back and view them at a later date. And Rhea in our office puts in the comments when certain questions came in and the time that they came in. And so that way you can try to jump to the area that you want to review and see where it is ahead of time. You don't have to watch it from the very beginning to the very end. I know the temptation to do that is great. Just like we watch Suits all the time. You probably would like to watch this all the time. But that's the entertainment portion right there. It's comedy. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, you can go back and watch them later. Okay, Friends over here says, how many more months will I wait after I pay the fingerprinting for my minor son, I-130?
How many more months? So if we're talking about an I-130 standalone, then that's going to be, that's going to be at the NVC processing. So you would be paying the affidavit of support fee and visa processing at the National Visa Center if we're talking about a standalone I-130 petition. So there's no separate biometrics fee with the I-130 petition. And it's not as if he's going to get scheduled for a biometrics after an I-130 petition is filed, the standalone. Hopefully that helps. All right. Let's see here. El Zapote from YouTube. Good morning. I'm a permanent resident and want to bring my kids in. Wife, how long is the wait from El Salvador? So, El Zapote, one thing is that there are a couple of things to look out for when you're talking about wait time. One is, how long does it take for the I-130 petition to be approved? I have to ask the question, how old are your children? But let's just say they're under the age of 21 and they can go under mom's petition. first thing you got to do is file. I mean, it's going to take a couple of years for that I-130 petition to get approved, a couple of years. So file that I-130 to get that in the process. We'd be happy to help you with that. The second is visa bulletin and, what the wait times are. It's not too bad right now for F2A category.
Let me pause right there. Let's be your next question up on TikTok. Just go ahead and hopefully you're paying attention to this. And we can, this is answering your question too. Okay.
Okay. So,
Sorry.
it's all right. El Salvador, across the board, F2A category, the spouse of a lawful permanent resident, children under the age of 21, unmarried of a permanent resident, processing cases filed on or before September 1st of 2023. So it's not current, but it's also not super backlogged. So the bottom line is file that petition for El Zapote as well as for Let's Be.
Right. They just filed with their spouse and wanted to know what the processing times were. How
Yep.
long it'd be for a response.
Yes. So if you file an I-130, as far as response is concerned, you should get a receipt within a month, an I-130 petition receipt. So this is a good time to segue into Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
That's right.
And I heard that it was also Independence Day for El Salvador as well as for Mexico. September 15th is an extremely important date for Mexican citizens. So
Yes.
Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Happy Hispanic Heritage
We'll be
Month.
celebrating all month long.
Yeah, we're going to start tonight at the Push Comedy Theater in Norfolk, where our own Wendy Avia is going to be doing stand-up comedy.
She's going to be doing stand-up comedy. All right. Wendy's our intake person. Yeah. It's going to be great.
I know. I'm so proud of her. I mean, that takes guts. Good
She is doing improv.
Mhm.
And the theme is just, she's originally from Mexico, and basically she's going to be with a group of other folks with Latino heritage and doing the comedy.
Yeah, we're not sure exactly how it works. I think they have like a prompt that they're randomly given, and then they have to improv some humor about it, which if any of you have ever tried to do stand-up comedy or improv or any combination, it's hard.
Very brave of her. I'll tell you that.
So if you're in this area, if you're in the Norfolk, Hampton Roads area, Virginia Beach, get down to the Push Comedy Theater in Norfolk tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Guaranteed to be
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
All right. You're next.
Let's see. IR5 category.
Uh-huh.
Waiting for interview. Requested expedite twice denied. Can you help to expedite it?
I'm happy to take a look at it. I'm also curious to know why it was denied. Yeah, sure. We are always happy to evaluate cases and get a second opinion.
All right.
Okay, this is Anne. Anne says, my brother got here in the United States when he was 15 years old, petitioned by our dad. But my brother has not filed his N-600 until now. He is 20 years old. Is there any possible way that he can still apply for N-600, or should it be the N-400? Yes, I mean, we'd have to evaluate to see whether or not he derived citizenship from, your dad or your mom. So, yep, we definitely, before filing either of those things, get the case evaluated and make sure you're filing the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right.
All right, here's an interesting question, and it says, "Hi, can you go visit your home country after you become a U.S. citizen through asylum?" And so, just to read between the lines here, I guess the question for those of you is, I got asylum based on fear of persecution or the conditions in my home country, and now I'm a U.S. citizen. If I turn around and go back to that country that I said I was afraid to go back to,
am I going to have a problem? Yeah.
Am I going to have a problem?
Well, country conditions may have changed. I would definitely check with your immigration attorney. We handle asylum cases only. I don't know if this is the right word, like peripherally, right? But I would definitely go back and check with your immigration attorney. But country conditions could have changed in order for you to go back to your country, even though you claimed asylum.
right.
All right. Let's see here.
Let's see.
I'm next, right?
Yes.
I just
you
want
are.
to make
Sorry,
sure.
I had
I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything.
No, I had a bunch.
Really great questions, guys. And I think while we're looking for the next question, I'm going to go ahead and reintroduce ourselves. My name is Radlyn Mendoza, and this is my husband and law partner. We started our law firm in the year 2000. We're coming up on our 23rd law firm anniversary, Gardner Mendoza in Virginia Beach. That's where we are physically located, but of course we represent clients all over the world because we are an immigration global law firm. And getting ready to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary. So lots of celebrations in the month of October. We got married in October and we started our law firm in October right after.
Sit tight, JV. You're going to be up next, all right?
Okay, JV's next. After this one here.
This one, yep. I think, is it Dina?
Dina, my son was born in 1989 at Palau. Is he considered U.S. citizen? Thanks a lot. Dina, we do handle cases like this, and we successfully handled one a couple of years ago. But I would still have to go back and look at the rules, and unfortunately can't answer that question right off the bat. So, because it's something that we do, I would say infrequently. We've only had a couple. But we have to get back with you on that, or you can reach out to us and we can evaluate as well.
Yeah, these are interesting cases. We have them from time to time and from various places, and you learn about some really interesting places in the world and some things going on here. Interesting. Did not know.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. You are next.
All right. JV wanted to know, VAWA was approved in July of 2022. And then there was an I-485 adjustment status interview in January of 2023. So that's just this year. No decision yet. How much longer do you think for a decision?
So a year after the I-485 interview, I mean, that's
well, not quite a year, but
almost a year. Well, what is it?
8 months.
8 months. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of a long time. The question is, when filing the I-485 application, looking at your case processing times, are you outside of processing times? If you are outside of processing, or if USCIS is outside of their posted case processing times, then you can make an inquiry about that. We sometimes make an inquiry even though we are within the case processing times, but certainly if you are outside of them, you should make an inquiry. And if you don't get responses or not to your satisfaction, then you can also reach out and make a congressional inquiry. So if you are not yet part of our Live Love Immigration Facebook page, come over and join us at Live Love Immigration. And pinned up to the top is just instructions on how to make congressional inquiry, which can be extremely, extremely helpful, guys. So sometimes people say, like, look, congressional inquiries do not help. We recommended someone, the person was not our client, but they had an issue, and I spoke to them and had a consultation with them. And I said, look, make a congressional inquiry about your work permit. She just wrote us back, and she's just thanking us profusely because what we recommended to her during the consultation actually worked, and her work authorization application was approved. I felt super good about that. It was Julio's referral. Remember at the dinner party? Anyway, so it can help. I mean, that's something that you should definitely look into. And I know that time goes by, you're immigration, you're just kind of waiting. Sometimes you have to be an advocate for yourself and take that extra step and do a congressional inquiry when you need help. All right. That was over there. I forgot already. This is what happens when it's like 15, when we've been on for 45 minutes. Like who answered the last question?
Yeah. No, that was from here.
Okay.
Nope, it was from here.
Okay.
That's right. It was from here.
Emily says, in your experience, State Department releasing of the visa bulletin late on indication of the backlog is greater than they thought. I don't know, Emily. That's a really good question, and something that I honestly haven't really given too much thought to, but it's a good question. Be interesting to see the data on that.
Oh, the visa bulletin, tea leaves. Every AILA conference, there's a lot of talk about what it all means with the visa bulletin. It's like the Wizard of Oz, what goes on behind
the visa bulletin, why and how. Yeah,
the Great Oz. There's a wizard back there doing something that nobody quite fully understands.
Great question.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, Pika wanted to know, can you file for adjustment of status even if the visa bulletin is not current for a spouse of a lawful permanent resident? Can you file?
You could have when it was current. Okay, so F2A is not current right now. That we just talked about that. If you file an I-130 petition and the priority date is on or before the cutoff date on the visa bulletin and your spouse is here, then you could potentially file the adjustment of status. But you have to have filed that I-130 petition on or before the cutoff date in the current month's visa bulletin. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Is it my turn?
Yes, indeed.
Ann Feliciano here. Hello, Ann. Can my brother use his tourist visa to come for emergency? F4 visa approved since April of this year. So 4th preference category, but still processing documents needed for the interview. My mom is in the hospital now and not doing good. We're really sorry to hear about your mom. Hopefully she gets better. But to answer your question, if your brother has a tourist visa, a valid tourist visa, and it hasn't yet expired, the issue here is, when he goes into the port of entry through the airport, are they going to allow him in? Because he is an immigrant, intending immigrant. He's got a visa. He's waiting for his interview. He's about ready to get his, presuming he's about ready to have his visa interview, and then he would be an immigrant. The issue is you're coming in on a non-immigrant visa. Your intent when coming in on a non-immigrant visa is to be a non-immigrant, yet you have this petition pending and it's about ready to move forward to the next stage to get that visa issued. It depends. I mean, can he come here and make a trip? Yes. Will they allow him to come into the United States under these circumstances? Maybe. The bottom line is, if you should arm him. If he really wants to come, you should arm him with the documents to show that mom is in the hospital, that he's going to the United States for a short visit, to check on his mom and to visit his mom. And also he has a return ticket. He's got his job still back home in the Philippines. We have to show that he's going to be going back after this short visit, and not to be hiding the ball if it's asked that whether he's got a petition pending, right? Like if you're directly asked, do you have a petition pending, or is anyone, the answer is yes. But I know I have all that, but we have a dire situation here where I need to go to the United States to see my mom. I have a return ticket. I'm only going to be here for however many weeks, a month, whatever. I have my job still back in the Philippines. My whole family is in the Philippines. We are going to immigrate together probably in the next couple of years. So these are the things that he would have to say.
Yeah, and for all of those out there listening, that that's just a reminder. Intent at the time of entry, it matters. It makes a difference. All right. We over here now?
Nope. Didn't I just read that.
You did.
Yes.
Yep. Nope. I don't think so. But anyway, next question.
Okay, Gaurav asked me to answer his question. I just took a peek at it. Gaurav, you're getting way too into the weeds, which would be, if I answered your question, I would be giving you legal advice, which we started this off say, no, we do not give legal advice. And if I were to answer those questions specifically, I would be giving you legal advice, which you could potentially take and take action. And I don't want to do that because it wouldn't be fair to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to, in 9 minutes of my time, give you an answer and then you would take action on it. Not fair to you.
So,
and it's important. Your issue is really, really important. So you can make an appointment or you can make an appointment and we can take a look at the facts and take a look at your documents. And that's another thing, guys. Documents, even during consultation, you will tell us things. And sometimes the documents don't actually back what you've told us. So even during consultation, we have to take a look at your documents and do more of a strategy session to make sure that, okay, what you just said is correct and these documents back it up. Because remember, we are attorneys, right? We're not an immigration internet service. We're actually lawyers. And so when we advise you to do something, we're totally on the hook as your attorney. When someone on the internet who's not a lawyer or who's a notario and is giving you advice, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong, right? I mean, we've seen this time and time again that there's no repercussion whatsoever. So what we say, we take very seriously when you are our clients. I mean, we put the time in.
And we do have, well, I should say we've had and continue to have a fair amount of clients through the years who come to us and their case did go off the rails because they were just following something they saw, through a Google search or a friend of the family told them. And then we have to fix it. So Radlyn's right. I mean, we're going to do a very thorough investigation of your case right from the get-go and make sure that we're not going to step into any of these traps that are along the way there.
Yep. So while you're looking at that, Ivan says, I've sponsored my ex-wife before, but she's now a U.S. citizen. Does she still count as a dependent? No. Not for affidavit of support purposes.
All right. Jojo over here. Jojo Munoz wants to know, my niece is on a J1 visa.
Okay.
Works for a public school in Florida.
All right.
How can she switch to EB2?
So we got to analyze that, Jojo. I mean, national interest waiver, does she qualify under the national interest waiver? On the J1, is she subject to the 2-year residency requirement? I mean, there's so many things to look at here. I would recommend that you call our office and make an appointment for your niece. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, Jojo, this is the kind of case that we do handle. They can be complicated. There's a lot to look into. I assure you, your niece is not the first J1 visa holder who wanted to do this. But we would have to really, really analyze what her skill set is.
Love getting NIWs for teachers. It's very, very rewarding.
Yep.
All right. Let me throw El Zapote's question up here. He says, hi again. I went to attorney a few months ago and they told me it was going to take about 12 months for the process to bring my family, but it was going to cost me about $29,000 for the application. So it's not going to take 12 months, El Zapote. You're a lawful permanent resident. The I-130 petition by itself is taking a couple of years. And as for $29,000, I don't know, how many family members do you have? I think you said your wife and 2 children. So, yeah. I mean, we'll charge you 28. How's that? And it's still going to be cheaper. No, I'm totally teasing. El Zapote, listen, the bottom line, I'm glad you're getting a second opinion, but the bottom line is you got to start. And it's going to take longer than 12 months. I would share my screen with you, but we're kind of running out of time. We'll do that next week when we look at processing times. But if you're a lawful permanent resident, it's getting that I-130 petition approved. I'm gonna just throw it up there.
Yeah, while you're looking at that, regarding the 29,000, I mean, again, Radlyn's right. We don't know all the details of your case.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some special circumstance that's driving that fee way up. But I will tell you all, in case any of you are sitting out there thinking that hiring us to do your immigration case is going to be, you know, $30,000 out of the gate, it's not. Okay, that is an extremely high immigration legal fee.
There could be a reason
but
for
there
it.
may be, with the caveat that there may be a reason for it.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to necessarily second guess it, because maybe there's something going on in this case that we don't know about that are going to be especially time consuming or take a lot of resources.
Yeah, I mean, the I-130 petition by itself it's posting up in like 30 months. So I'm not sure about why anyone would tell you it would take 12 months.
Right.
One thing, El Zapote, is that, you know, if you are eligible for U.S. citizenship, that's going to cut time off. Even, I mean, especially now, apply, and if you're
Yeah,
eligible,
just,
like,
you know what, just call us. I mean, you're getting some really questionable advice there, and I'm wondering who you talk to, but I don't really want to know. Just
I
call our
mean, we
office.
don't know. Maybe if you sat down with someone, then maybe they know a lot more than we do, right?
There's too much there that I don't like. Call us, please, so that we can make sure that you don't have a bad situation happen in your very important immigration case. Okay.
Yep. Okay, you're next. And Kenneth says, "Hi, is it possible to personally file an EB-3 visa without getting an immigration lawyer?" Yes, it is possible to do that, but why on earth would you want to do that? I don't care if you hire us or someone who doesn't charge $29,000, but maybe $28,000. Hire somebody for your EB-3 case. Good gracious.
Next question here is, if my sister is here as a tourist,
Yep.
can my mom process papers for her to petition?
So if your sister's here on a tourist visa, I mean, can your mom file an I-130 petition for her while she's here? Yes, she can. Is your sister going to be eligible for adjustment of status and be able to remain in the United States? That's a completely different question. How old is your sister? Is she under 21? Is she unmarried? Is mom a U.S. citizen? I missed all those things, but these are some of the things to consider. And yeah, you got to speak to an immigration lawyer to really evaluate that. I mean, you might have somebody who's not an immigration lawyer file an I-130 petition and I-45, and your mom is a U.S. citizen and your sister is 25 years old. I mean, that's going to get rejected, right? So anyhow. Is it my turn?
Yeah, if you've got any more questions over there. If you don't, we'll take one more.
We're not picking on you. We are not picking on you. I did a video, I did a TikTok, and I said, why are you not applying for U.S. citizenship? Give me the reasons. I said the excuses, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And what many people said, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. Well, how quickly do you want your family here? Are you lazy about that too?
Yeah, look, folks, we all do it. I mean,
I know.
You know, updating beneficiaries on our life insurance policies, updating the address on our titles to our cars. There are all these little things that we just, every day we know we need to take care of them, and they just keep going by. But this is one thing that you really should not let sit another day.
Yeah, especially now if they're doing 6 months.
Yeah.
So the strategy, it could be to file the I-130 as a permanent resident, become a U.S. citizen, inform USCIS or National Visa Center that you are now a U.S. citizen, get fast-tracked, and it's a completely different ballgame. All right. So that is the last question. It is 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And I know you've got some questions.
We've got lots. But
we appreciate you guys. It's always a fun 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. hour with you guys. And your questions were amazing. They're always so good.
Yeah.
It's always so much fun to answer the questions.
We are out of time. Get here next Friday at noon, get them posted, and we will get to them. All righty.
All right.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Have a great next week. 2 thumbs up. Can we
2
see
thumbs
that
up.
there?
Kenneth, tell your employer to give us a call. All right.
And Zapote will be waiting for your call.
We'll be waiting for
We know
you
it's
to file
coming.
that N400.
You know it's coming this afternoon, so I'll have my phone close by. Okay. All right,
Bye, guys.
take
Have a
care.
wonderful weekend.